How are you from wherever you are watching us? There is the People's Bench and I am Fred Ogweno. I'm privileged to have the president of Bunge la Wananchi. That is Mr. Joakim Simiyu himself. And tonight, I just want to remind you to kindly subscribe on our YouTube channel at Fred Ogweno Live or at the People's Bench so that whenever we post this kind of videos, you will be able to see them or get the notification. How are you, sir?
Very fine.
Karibu sana to the People's Bench.
I'm honored to be here.
Yes.
It's quite a privilege.
Yes. You may introduce yourself maybe to our viewers who may not be familiar with you.
To those watching and they are quite unfamiliar with this face.
Yes.
My name is Joakim Simiyu.
Yes.
President at Bunge la Wananchi. The only platform that discusses governance and politics nearly on a daily basis.
Yes.
Our main job is to identify what is wrong with the governance of the country and lay it bare for the people to know. Yes, yes.
Thank you and congratulations. You people are doing a great work there.
We are only filling a void that has been left by Parliament. It's an arm of government that should be talking about the interests of the people, doing representation and oversight.
Yes.
But because they chose to fit into the pocket of the executive, then we as the people decided to fill that void because, as we always say, nature abhors vacuum.
Great, great, great.
Yes.
Now, we pick it from there.
Yes.
Nairobi Women Representative Esther Passaris has come up with a draconian bill trying to gag Kenyans. He wants Kenyans to have a formalized way of taking to the streets.
And I look at Esther Passaris and I wonder, I see someone who is biting a finger that is feeding her. Esther Passaris is a product of protests. She is in that position because of protests. She's in a party that has been an epitome of protest in this country. And she should be the last person to come up with a bill that aims at gagging people and limiting the democratic liberties that we have in the country. I expected Esther Passaris to be representing women, as her title says it. She's a women representative. I've never seen Esther Passaris go to Pumwani Hospital and just to look at how the hospital is running, if women there who are giving birth are safe and the services are being delivered in the expected manner. Quite a few months ago, we had cases of femicides. I never saw her talk about it. She didn't condemn the acts. She didn't come up with a bill that aims at curbing femicides. But all of a sudden, she's now coming up with a bill that aims at limiting the democratic liberties that people died to get to where we are. And I think Miguna has been vindicated the way he described her on NTV. I think it's 5 years ago. Is it 5 or 10?
Over 10.
Over 10 years. Miguna's description of Esther Passaris was perfect.
As a socialite bimbo?
A socialite bimbo. I only see her catwalking in public forums, and she does not, under any circumstance, represent the women of Nairobi. And so that bill, we the people in opposition, we are going to vehemently fight against it. It's dead on arrival.
I hear you.
It cannot go beyond where it is.
You are ready to go to court?
We are already in court as we speak. It will be made public either today or tomorrow. You cannot say, for example, she's saying that protests should be limited at one place. You should be giving your name, your address. What kind of nonsense is that?
And look at this, my brother. Instead of Esther Passaris and other members of parliament looking at the reasons why the GenZ have taken to the street, she's looking at how to gag the protests.
You know, the only way people have today to express their frustrations and dissatisfaction is through protesting. And when you curb them from doing that, they will look for another way of expressing their dissatisfaction. And it could be more lethal than the one we are having. And as I had opined the other day, that now that when we go to the streets, the government allows goons to infiltrate our peaceful protests, rob people, loot shops, that we now change the tact that we are experiencing. We are demonstrating against the oppressive economic environment, that people are struggling to even manage their day-to-day lives. And we are in the streets to tell the government that there is something wrong with how the economy of the country is being run. When they shoot against us, then we will identify people who have made this problem come to be here with us. And the people who are sleeping on the job are members of parliament. They pass bills that harm the people without even thinking about it. So for them to understand the kind of weight they are putting on our shoulders, I had opened that we walk into their homes.
Walk into the homes of the members of
Yes.
parliament, if I hear you right?
Yes. Not to do anything else, but to demand to be fed by the members of parliament. Provide breakfast, provide lunch, and then supper. Nice meals that they take every day. Then they will understand what it means when we say that even feeding ourselves has become a problem. They are passing bills that make it possible for KRA to raid our pay slips, to make business environment in the country very corrosive. When you go borrow a loan from the bank, the interests are very high. So accessing credit to even run a business becomes a problem. But when we come to the streets to talk about these things, instead of thinking of why are we protesting, they condemn us. They say that we are bringing, there is this word they like using, anarchy. I don't know what it means, but if demanding my rights is anarchy, then so be it. Because what other choice do I have?
But not when protesters are burning down buildings, they are looting, women are being raped. Not when it turns violent, my brother.
Violence was made possible by the same government.
How?
I was in the streets June 25th. We had two sections in Nairobi, from Tomboya coming upwards and going downtown. We, the people who are in the main CBD, we didn't loot one shop. We were only carrying a handkerchief, a flag, a phone, and a bottle of water. But 50 people out of us who were in the CBD are nursing gunshot wounds, tear gas canister wounds at Kenyatta National Hospital. We were not putting anyone's life at risk. We were not attacking the police. We were only protesting, which is a right given to us in the Constitution. There was no shop in the main CBD that was looted. No, not even one. But we have people nursing gunshot wounds. Now, come downtown. Buildings were looted. If a goon has the confidence of climbing up to 4th floor and take a fridge that weighs almost 80 kgs, running with such kind of an item is a problem. But no goon was arrested. No gunshot, no tear gas was fired. The police were in the vicinity. And it's like they knew which shop to loot. You look at the pictures that are circulating on social media. Someone walking in the street confidently with a mattress. The police had the opportunity to stop it from happening, but they did not. Why? Because it was supposed to happen that way. Then the following day, the Minister for Interior comes. Then we see a lot of IDs put in one corner. So the goons decided that after you carry a TV, 55-inch, then you realize an ID is heavier than the TV, you drop it. Then someone else comes and drops it there. So it's like the goons decided to drop their IDs in one place. That the Minister for Interior comes and inspects those IDs using bare hands. Anachukua ID, anabeba, anaangalia. So if we take that ID in the forensics and to identify who was here, whose fingerprints do we find on that ID? And it's now some days. Have we found the people who actually looted those buildings? It's a creation of the same government, so that when we talk about Sabasaba, the owners of business will be forced to recruit their own people to guard their business. And we will have protesters in town. And then there will be goons in town. So when violence erupts, the government will swoop in and say, no, the protests have become violent, let us stop it. But we already know their plans. And we are still soldiering on to make Sabasaba a reality.
Are you saying that Sabasaba is going to be bigger than what we saw?
You remember 18th
on 25th
of June last year, when we just assembled in town and nothing much happened? That can only be likened to June 25th the last year. We had promised that we will march to Parliament last year. 18th, we didn't make it. We made it on 25th. Last maandamano, we said we will go to State House, not to cause any violence, but to speak to the president while standing at the gate, because we have realized that speaking through the media, he cannot hear us. So we wanted to speak from a closer proximity so that he gets what we are saying.
But look, my brother, when you got the opportunity to come closer to Parliament on 25th,
yes,
2024,
yes,
you people stormed, you got in, yes, Parliament and burnt it down.
We didn't burn Parliament. We just went there and had some lunch and left. Look at the section that was burnt. We didn't get in through that section. Someone else did it, which is not us. Our intention is not to cause any destruction. People eating rice, what threat do they cause to the country?
Eating rice in Parliament?
Yes.
It's not yours.
It's
not meant for you.
That? It's for Kenyans.
You scared the members of Parliament.
Now, Kenyans went to Parliament and the first thing they did was to go to the kitchen. What does that tell you? These people are just
hungry.
There is a statement that goes around that when the people shall have nothing to eat, they will eat the rich. Who are the rich in this country? They are telling us to maintain stability, to have peace. You cannot have peace on an empty stomach. The government has made this mistake of creating over 60% of the Kenyan people not being able to afford 3 meals in a day. That we have over 20 million Kenyans who do not even have an asset. You know, when you have even an M-Pesa stall in the Nairobi CBD, you will be thinking of stability and peace. Because you know that when violence erupts, you risk losing that stall. But if you have nothing, the only thing you can lose is your miserable lives. We have a situation where young people are posting their own eulogies. Some are going to an extent of depositing money in the morgues. It could look comical, but it speaks to a bigger problem. The government is fighting people who have had suicidal thoughts at some point in their lives. A 23-year-old lady with a kid living in her parents' home, not because she wants to stay in that house, it's because there is nowhere else she can go, because even her boyfriends cannot be able to marry her because of economic constraints. And when that person hears that tomorrow there will be an opportunity to protest, there is nothing that can stop that person from coming to the streets. And instead of these people thinking about why are the people protesting, they are busy thinking about how to stop them from protesting. You cannot do that. They will not succeed. They will not. And I can see them talking arrogantly that this regime must come back for a second term. The issue is not coming back. The issue is, what are you coming back to do?
But we'll send them home now that Ruto is together with Raila.
Raila was to give Ruto legitimacy and cool down things. We still had at June 25th. You saw it happen. And I can see my brothers from ODM are very bitter. I understand them because we are doing what they thought they are the only ones who can do it.
And you are doing it better.
We are doing it better. They used to do it in slums, in Pipeline, Kibera. We are coming in the CBD. We even overran parliament without their help. So they are bitter. I understand their bitterness. We are doing what they have been doing better. You know, it was better when Raila used to lead demonstrations because there was someone to negotiate with.
I hear you.
There was someone to call to the table and he could calm down the people. Today, there is no one. If you call me to the table today, tomorrow there will be someone else. You call him to the table, there will always be someone else. What they will be forced to deal with the issues that are bringing the people in the streets.
But are they listening?
We will force them to listen. Something that will break the camel's back is when we visit them in their homes and demand to eat.
They'll shoot you dead.
They have already done it. There is nothing that they will do that they haven't done it. We have Rex Masai is dead. Eric Shien is dead. Kennedy Onyango is dead. So what else will they do? The people are going to the street knowing that there is a possibility of being shot, but they are still coming. You look at what is behind them. What is it that is pushing them to come? They are busy thinking about who is funding protests. Do you need to be funded to know that SHA is not working?
They say it is working.
But have you ever heard M-Pesa say, Safaricom say M-Pesa is working? Do you think, why do you think M-Pesa Safaricom doesn't say that? Because it's clear, public knowledge, M-Pesa is working. But if it takes a government spokesperson to say that SHA is working, that points to a possibility that it's not working. Is it yesterday where this lady who went to a hospital for surgery to remove a stomach tumor, and she was told the tumor had not reached the size that SHA can cover. So the option she has is to go back, wait for the tumor to grow so that SHA can cover that. That's the country we are living in. We are living in a country where you are just in the streets, knowing that there will be tear gas, so people will need masks. You know, Kenyans are entrepreneurial people. They know how to solve a problem. You take care of you take advantage of the crisis. So Boniface Kariuki had thought of that and say there will be tear gas in town and people will need masks. And I don't have money. What do? Let me go to town as people protest and they will need masks. I sell masks to them. What happened? He was shot to death. But goons who are terrorizing people, no one has been shot. We saw where police vehicles were escorting goons into town.
They are marching side by side.
Yes. What comes into the mind of that goon carrying a baton and being escorted by a GK vehicle? He will have confidence to do something even worse, even without the supervision of the police. They are creating a monster that will feed on their flesh someday.
But let me ask you, my brother.
Yes.
We are having 2 more years to go.
Yes.
Almost 2.5 in President Ruto's term.
Yes.
Why don't we give him time?
Yes.
He implements his manifestos, his good promises, that he promised Kenyans, so that when 2027 comes, Kenyans will have the opportunity to elect new leaders or send them home, if they so decide.
So I've given this example quite a number of times. Let me say you are in town and you want to go to Kayole. But because you do not really know the direction, you mistakenly take a vehicle that goes to Kawangware. Then on the way you realize you are in a wrong vehicle. It's going towards Kawangware, Muko hapa Yaya Center. Then you are like, hey, stop the vehicle. I need to go back to town and take a vehicle to Kayole. Then someone tells you, give the driver time
to reach Kawangware first.
So as you continue giving the driver time, he's nearing where? Kawangware. It will take you more time and more resources to first come back to town, then find your way to Kayole. The earlier you get out of that vehicle, the better. President William Ruto has had 3 years in office to show Kenyans that he can actually implement something. What he has done is to prove to everyone that he was not ready to be president and he's not willing to work for people. His supporters say that he's a very brilliant person. I believe he is. But he's only brilliant when he's doing things that are beneficial to him.
He asked that, you want me to go? Tell me, how should I go?
He knows how he came here. It's the same way he will go. We are determined that he will go. That's clear in everyone's mind. Even his supporters know that he will go. That's why they are saying that they cannot get votes, so the likes of Sudi and the rest are saying, hata kama haita kura haita tosha, tutaongeza. And I want to sound a warning. The last year, in a public participation in a finance bill at KICC, I told Honorable Kimani Kuria that he was treading on very dangerous grounds. That if he pushed that bill, the country will be chaotic, and he thought I was joking. And I want to sound a warning to the government and to President Ruto that the thought of rigging elections will be chaotic, a recipe for chaos. And if President Ruto proceeds and rigs himself back into power, then the people of Kenya shall be justified to use other means to eject him from power. Actually, he should be praying that he loses that election. Because winning, Kenyans cannot condone even a minute with Ruto again in office. If we had the guts to think of leasing JKIA for 30 years in his first term, imagine him in second term. If we are seeing this kind of arrogance of leaders in their first term, you can imagine the arrogance of these same leaders in their last term, it will be phenomenal. The clawback on our democratic liberties will be rampant.
We have the courts. That is why there is Supreme Court. And that is why we have the Constitution, that if anyone is not happy with the electoral results, outcome, he should go to court.
Kenyans have no confidence in any institution in this country. They have no confidence. And as the people, we know that the first order of business in restoring confidence in the institutions of the country, we must get rid of the CEO of the country. Because we understand that President Ruto has no moral authority to question anyone on whether corruption or the working of the institutions. Because himself, he's been in the newspapers and the media before he became president quite a number of times for violating the Constitution.
Tell me, who is not corrupt in this country? Tell me. Even these people who are seeking to replace him, tell me, who is not corrupt, who has not been charged? Who is clean? Who is the alternative? That is the question.
Let me use an elimination method so that we can arrive to the most suitable candidate. Let me start with Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Dr. Fred Matiang'i is saying he just resigned from World Bank. One of our problems in this country is these multinational corporations that are put there by the West to control the economies of this country. So, Matiang'i just resigned from World Bank. World Bank controls us through fiscal policy formulations. So taxation ile tutakuwa tunapata, the time of Matiang'i will be still oppressive. Because he's not coming to upset the status quo, he's coming to maintain it. Internally, he's a project of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, a person who mismanaged the country for 10 years. And in records, we have a missing 6.5 trillion of public debt under his watch.
Look at his human rights violation record.
And he's the one fronting who? Matiang'i. So if we are looking for change, Matiang'i is not an option. Gachagua, just the other day, we can remember, we were all here, was an abrasive, arrogant deputy president. Today, he wants to be a high priest of good governance. It cannot happen. Kalonzo is never serious. He's lukewarm. He cannot take charge of anything by himself. He must wait for direction, which again will not help in upsetting the status quo. So we are left with who? Baba Raila Odinga will also not upset the status quo. And actually, Baba doesn't want to be president. Who told you he wants to be president? He enjoys life the way it is. Like the position he's occupying right now. It's nowhere on earth. But it's there for him. Power without responsibility. He's in state functions. He speaks in between the president and the deputy. He enjoys executive powers. But you cannot ask him any question when things are falling apart. He enjoys the privileges that you only enjoy when you are a president. So why waste time winning for presidency when you can get the same privileges without being a president? So he actually doesn't have to win. Because whoever we will choose, Raila Odinga will still be there working with him. So it's the Kenyan people who will choose the person who will work with Raila. So it has come to a point where Raila doesn't have to run. He has actually outgrown our ballot. You vote against him, he's still here. You vote for him, he's still here. So, so he's out of the question. Whether he runs or not is inconsequential.
He will be in there.
He will be there. When the matters of the country are being discussed, Raila will have to be there. So I am only thinking about people who are not so famous, people who are not very charismatic.
I hear you.
People like, let me first mention the governor of Trans Nzoia. He looks like he understands the problem of the Kenyan people. And then I heard Jimmy Wanjigi speak about the economics of the country. And he looks like he knows where the problem is. Public debt and domestic borrowing by government. If we can handle those two problems, then we can create an environment where people can access credit. And then these kind of protests will die a natural death. And we will have a stable country that everyone wants.
Thank you, my brother. My director is reminding me that our time is up. But in 30 minutes, you are saying that Sabasaba is going to be big, bigger than what we've seen before. That young people are not afraid to take back to the streets. What do you have to say, even as we are looking forward to
young
next
people
week?
have two choices: either die of depression or die by a bullet. If it were you, what will you choose? Depression is longer, more painful, because I just painted a picture where you are graduated from school, you have no job, you have no hope that tomorrow will be better. The biggest thing this government has taken away from the young people is hope. So when someone doesn't have any hope that tomorrow will be better than today, that person becomes suicidal and he will be looking for situations that can end his life. So the reason why fighting terrorism is hard is because a terrorist doesn't come to survive. He believes that dying in the war earns him a place in heaven. But a soldier is someone who sold his land to get a job to feed his family. So these are two people in the same situation with different mentalities.
But these problems did not start with President Ruto. They were there during Kibaki, during Uhuru.
Yes,
People did
I
not take to
agree,
the streets.
I agree.
Why must you give Ruto a
But
hard
it's
time now?
Ruto who said, we are not asking anything he didn't promise. The same problems that we are charging him with the responsibility to solve, they were there when he was ascending to power. He had promised us that it's the last time we will ever see police brutality, state capture, the economy will work from bottom up. We're only reminding him the things he told us during campaign. We understand that there were police brutalities before him, but he's the one who came and told us, hey, look, guys, there will be no more police brutality. We are just telling him, why do we still have the same case? Why is the economy not working? You had the plan. Alikuwa anasema hawa watu wengine hawana agenda.
If somebody stole the plan.
Then he should tell us who stole the plan. He used to talk about the plan overhead. So hawezi kuja kutuambia somebody stole the plan. It's a case of unwillingness to work.
I hear you.
Yes,
Thank you.
As I finish in 2 minutes, or 1 minute, the approach of the government and even the response to our plight is what is fueling the people. And if they continue like that, things are going to get out of hand. They say that we should not ban the country. Then they should stop engaging themselves in actions that can fuel the people into banning the country.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for getting your time and to watch the People's Bench. It has been the People's Bench coming to you from GenZ here in Riverside. It was a privilege to have Mr. Joakim Simiyu himself, that is the president of the Bunge la Wananchi. How was the bench?
The bench was great.
Yes.
It's the People's Bench.
Yes, the People's Bench. And you are the people's representative.
Kabisa.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
We do it again next time.
I
Thank
believe
you.
so.
And bye-bye.